that pain is the ultimate evil. That's just the background assumption of nearly all of moral philosophy, that pain is to be escaped, controlled, or overcome. Look at the Hellenistic schools, the Stoics, the Epicureans. Both built entire systems around mastering suffering. Epicurus frames pleasure as the absence of pain, and the Stoics try to make themselves invulnerable to pain. Even Plato in the Philebus talks about pleasure and pain as if they're these two opposite currents, flowing away from each other like light and shadows. And for centuries we just accepted it. The utilitarians argued that morality was found in happiness versus sadness and calculus, that the good life was the painless life. But I don't buy it, and I don't think I've ever bought it. I think that's the single biggest metaphysical mistake we've ever made, because pain isn't an error in the system which needs to be eradicated. It is the system. It is how our consciousness registers itself. When I stub my toe, when I take a shot of vodka, when I write for too long and my wrist cramps, when I work out until I'm aching sore, it's pain, but it's also the most fundamentally real proof that I am alive, that I, Ahmed, am in contact with the world around me. And I've realized that everything meaningful passes through some form of pain, whether emotional, physical, existential, it doesn't matter. Pain is the process of transformation. It's how we become the people we are today. It is the virtue of being human is found in that. Nietzsche understood this better than almost anyone. In The Birth of Tragedy, he argues that it is only as an aesthetic phenomenon that existence and the world are eternally justified. In other words, it's not that life becomes beautiful when once pain ends, it's that pain itself becomes beautiful when it's given form. That's what the Greeks got right and always showed. Their tragedies weren't meant to cure suffering, they were celebrations of it. Aristotle in the Poetics describes catharsis of seeing these tragedies, feeling the emotions you felt leaving. They knew what we'd forgotten, and that joy and suffering aren't opposites, they are partners. Dionysus and Apollo, chaos and order, and forever dancing. Schopenhauer viewed life as suffering, and I think in some form he was half right. Life is suffering, but he never saw the alchemy of it. What turns into meaning once the pain stops? He stopped at despair and pessimism where Nietzsche began. And then you get people like Simone Weil, who argued with Christianity, and this is one of my favourite quotes, the extreme greatness of Christianity lies in the fact that it does not seek a supernatural remedy for suffering, but a supernatural use for it. The line gets me every single time. A supernatural use for suffering, to understand, that's it. That's consciousness. Not running from pain, but using it. Because pain isn't the opposite of pleasure, it's the condition for it. Without friction, there's no texture. Without resistance, there's no art. Every painting, every novel, every piece of philosophy worth reading, they all come from pain. Even the joy of creation is laced with it. Every thinker I admire, from Nietzsche to Kierkegaard to Dostoevsky, was in conversation with their own suffering. It's the birthplace of depth. And maybe that's the real role of consciousness, to turn suffering into form, pain into understanding, and wounds into wisdom. I think where we went most wrong in life was seeing pain as something to be eradicated and not something to be embraced.